right, let's get into this Ohio State situation. Is Chip Kelly gone? The Buckeyes have already lost their defensive coordinator, Jim Knowles, to Penn State, who paid him a ton of money. Now, the question is, will head coach Ryan Day lose his offensive coordinator, Chip Kelly? You win a national championship, people come for your players and your coaches. Certainly, there are teams interested in him. Yes, NFL teams. And why not? He just helped lead the Buckeyes to a national championship. He used to be an NFL head coach with the Eagles and the 49ers. By the way, that's where his path crossed with a young Ryan Day when he hired him on the staff back in the day, in case you didn't know. I know Buckeye fans know that. According to CBS Sports, the Jaguars, the Texans, and the Buccaneers are interested in Kelly becoming their next offensive coordinator. So will he go to the NFL or not? I don't know. Are the pastures greener in the NFL? Yeah, maybe. They might be these days. So let's talk about this. Chip Kelly's situation is unique, to say the least. By now, most of you know his situation, right? Ryan Day decided that he needed to step away from offense and play calling duties and concentrate on CEO stuff at Ohio State, name, image, and likeness, recruiting, transfer portal, alumni, fundraisers, all that stuff that's necessary to get Ohio State across the finish line of the college football playoffs and lead the Buckeyes to a national title. Oh, by the way, it worked. It worked. But you can't just bring in anybody to run the Buckeyes offense. This is a big job. This is one of the biggest jobs. It's not a job where you just promote a young quarterback's coach and give him a shot. No. Frankly, this job requires a little gravitas. And frankly, to be qualified to be Ryan Day's offensive coordinator at Ohio State, your resume should be good enough to be a head coach at about 100 other schools. You should be pretty experienced. So the first crack, as you know, went to Bill O'Brien, former NFL head coach with the Texans, former college head coach at Penn State, former offensive coordinator with the Patriots who worked for Tom Brady. That's a resume. That's the kind of resume Ryan Day was looking for. But that marriage only lasted about 3 weeks because as soon as Bill O'Brien got to Ohio State, I don't even think he unpacked his office. He was suddenly offered the Boston College head coaching job, and he's got deep family ties to the Boston area, and boom, he was gone. He was gone. He did talk Julian Sayin into coming from Alabama. He did do that for them. Suddenly, Ryan Day's perfect plan was in deep trouble, but a funny thing happened. Another overly qualified coach, Chip Kelly, he resigned as the head coach at UCLA. He had had enough. He was making millions. He was the top guy. Had enough of it. Tired of all the stuff that college coaches have to do now, the things we just mentioned, like name, image, and likeness and transfer portals. And they were all things that forced people like Nick Saban to retire and get out of the game, just like a month before. Chip Kelly just wanted to coach football. There's a lot of guys that say that now. That's it. Just want to coach. That's why you got into the business. You want to coach. Didn't want to deal with all this other stuff. As I recall, it was like a week after signing day that he left UCLA, right before spring practice was set to begin. He says, I'm out of here. Then he ended up at Ohio State. UCLA was in a bit of a bind. Up until that moment, so was Ryan Day. How are you going to replace Bill O'Brien? It was just there. Suddenly, Chip Kelly becomes the offensive coordinator at Ohio State. Took a big pay cut, big demotion, but he would just coach football. He would just coach offense. And he would do it for his old friend and former employee, Ryan Day. Seemed like a nice spot for Chip Kelly to settle in on. Things worked out. They won the national championship in the first year. Now, moving forward, I don't know what motivates Chip Kelly. I don't know if he's content just coaching Ohio State's offense for as long as Ryan Day is in Columbus. By the way, there's talks of contract extensions and all that stuff there. Or does he look at these NFL offensive coordinator jobs as a chance to shine in the NFL and get another crack at becoming an NFL head coach? He could have the autonomy and the salary of a head coach again without all the nonsense that comes with being a head coach of college football. Of the teams that are reportedly interested in Kelly, the Jaguars, they make the least amount of sense. New coach Liam Cohen, he was Tampa Bay's offensive coordinator. It seems reasonable that he'll handle the play calling duties in Jacksonville. I don't know about Tampa Bay, but I think the team to watch is the Texans. Head coach DeMeco Ryans, whom Kelly coached when he was the head coach of the Eagles. And Ryans is a former defensive guy, right? Former defensive player, former defensive coordinator. Buckeye fans should watch out for that one. I think that one's interesting because it makes sense. And it could be a lot of sense for Chip Kelly if that's what he's looking for. That's a path back to the NFL and being a head coach someday. It's been a while since he's been a head coach there in the NFL. But you go there and you have some success, and boom, next thing you know, you're the hottest name out there. And then, by the way, it'd be back to the drawing board for Ryan Day and his offense. So I don't know what he would do there. Buckeye fan, maybe now that Ryan Day has things rolling, maybe he can afford to go back to running the offense and the play calling. I don't know if this is permanent, the rest of his career. It's an idea. Again, I don't know who's got the gravitas and the resume to come in there and be the next offensive coordinator again. It's going to have to be a special guy. Got to be a guy with a huge resume like Bill O'Brien or Chip Kelly. Not a lot of guys out there willing to just be an offensive coordinator and not be head coach. Buckeye fans would love to hear from you with the comments on YouTube. Hit me up. Let's talk about it. Meanwhile, here on a Tuesday, a light basketball schedule. We got Minnesota and Michigan State, 7th-ranked Michigan State. A couple of notes on this game that make it extra interesting. By the way, 8 o'clock Eastern on Peacock. Minnesota, which had been horrible, is not horrible anymore. They've won their last 3 games. 2 of them have been against ranked teams. They beat Michigan, Iowa, and Oregon. Meanwhile, Michigan State, hot as a firecracker. They've won 12 in a row. Last time Izzo won 12 in a row, he went to the Final Four. The game's at 8 o'clock on Peacock tonight. And there's a women's game tonight as well. Northwestern at Iowa. You know what's always happening there at Iowa for women's basketball. 8 o'clock Eastern on the Big Ten Network. All right, coming up, Tuesday tweets. It's one of my favorite segments of the week. We've pulled tweets that you guys have been out there on Twitter or X. Don't forget, you can follow us at Talk Big Ten. Hit me up with a tweet there. If I find it's amusing, man, I'll put it on. We're going to do that next right here on Locked On Big Ten. Tax season is coming. Let me tell you about Intuit TurboTax. I've been a customer of theirs for like 20 years. I wouldn't do taxes without them. Taxes is normally, waiting and wondering and worrying if you're going to get your money back, and then more waiting and wondering and worrying some more, and all the papers you got to find and all that stuff. Now taxes is just matching with a TurboTax expert who can do your taxes as soon as today. That's right. An expert who gives your taxes their undivided attention as they work on your return, while you get real-time updates on their progress, so you can focus on other things in your day. An expert will find you every single deduction that is possible, file every form, every investment, everything with 100% accuracy. So you get all this, and you can get the most money back guaranteed. No waiting, no wondering, no worries. This is how taxes are now. Get an expert now at TurboTax.com. Only available with TurboTax Live full service. Real-time updates only in iOS mobile app. See guarantee details at TurboTax.com/guarantees.